Senate receives 3 additional ministerial nominees for screening.
We have the moral obligation, like never before, to work towards protecting the dividends of democracy.
Second extraordinary session of Community Parliament opens in Ghana. New members take oath.
What can we do to have a stable environment in Nigeria?
63rd Independence Anniversary, Nigeria's High Commissioner to UK tasks citizens on patriotism. Hello and welcome to the Network News. I am Olajide Bello, and joining me from Lagos is Adiola Komiakiri. Remember, you can watch this broadcast live on our website nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen. Now let's start from the Red Chambers. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has transmitted to the Senate for screening and confirmation a list of 3 additional ministerial nominees. National Assembly correspondent Lami Ali reports.
The communication comes in the second week of resumption of plenary. The lawmakers first went into a closed-door session lasting about 3 hours. President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, read out the communication of President Tinubu.
3 nominees, Dr. Jamila Bio Ibrahim, Balarebe Abbas Lawal, and Mr. Ayodele Olawande.
The lawmakers also adopted a motion effecting some amendments to the Senate standing rules. The new section provides that for a senator to be eligible to contest the office of the President of the Senate or Deputy, the contender must have served a term in the Senate. Senate has commended organized labor for suspending the planned strike as raised by Senator Diket Plang.
The Senate will continue to move on legislations that will improve the welfare of our staff.
I appreciate the Trade Union Congress and the Nigerian Labour Congress. The understanding will help to stabilize the economy.
Meanwhile, Senate Committee on Gas has expressed commitments to put in place legislations to enhance federal government's drive on clean energy.
Initiative as it concerns CNG to power buses and for the purpose of ameliorating the sufferings of our people. So we are going to do everything within our powers to support Mr. President.
The committee has a plan to engage stakeholders for immediate action in reinvigorating the sector. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the Parliament of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has commenced the second extraordinary session of the 5th legislature in Ghana. ECOWAS Parliament correspondent Muhammad Rabiu Ali reports that at the opening session, Speaker Mohamed Sidi Tunis sworn in new members from Sierra Leone.
This second extraordinary session of the Community Parliament is dedicated to the consideration and adoption of the 2024 draft budget of the Parliament supporting women and youth development. Speaker ECOWAS Parliament Mohamed Sidi Tunis says the 5th legislature under his stewardship will ensure that ECOWAS Youth Parliament is established to bring about more youth involvement and participation in political institutions in the sub-region so as to sway them away from vices.
We have the moral obligation, like never before, to work towards protecting the dividends of democracy, including freedom and justice. Leaders must understand that the constitutional engineering to perpetuate themselves in power is an infringement on the sovereign will of the people, a clear violation of their mandate to rule, and a setback in democratic development and consolidation.
The second extraordinary session continues with committee sittings. Muhammad Rabiu Ali, NTA News.
And still in the euphoria of the 63rd Independence Anniversary celebration, Nigerian High Commissioner to United Kingdom, Sir Rafa Tunji-Shola, has charged Nigerians in diaspora to always display high sense of patriotism and exhibit enviable virtues known only of a true Nigerian. He was speaking during a strategic session with Nigerian Community in the UK. Wali Hamzat reports.
Being targeted. Thank you.
As part of activities to celebrate Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary, the Nigerian Community in Southwark Borough, London, United Kingdom, gathered in what was tagged an evening in celebration of Nigeria Independence Day. It was a platform to launch the Spring Communities Hub's report on integration and the Nigerian perspective.
What can we do to have a stable environment in Nigeria, in other parts of Africa?
I think the key issues around this is making sure we have an asylum and immigration system that's fit for purpose to deal with the backlog of cases instead of us saying we're going to ship people to Rwanda.
As a special guest at the event, the Nigerian High Commissioner Rafa Tunji-Shola underscores the need for Nigerians in the UK to leverage on our diversity as a people for collaborations and support rather than for divisive tendencies.
I have a lot of Indian friends, and if you see what they do with WhatsApp, it's about networking and business activities. But what do we do with ours? Oh, have you seen in Lagos 20 people died? Oh, it happened in Port Harcourt. Hey, they were kidnapped. Oh, you are selling that narratives. I want people to go and invest in Nigeria. And the moment you say that, the moment you share that, people in Britain will use that the same microscope to look at you Nigerians here.
The event provided a platform for Nigerians living in Southwark to interact and meet their representatives at the council level, notably the mayor, members of parliament and councillors of Nigerian extraction. From London, Olawale Hamzat. And still from the United Kingdom, a former Minister of Petroleum Resources, Desani Alison Madueke, has been arraigned before the Westminster Court in London, United Kingdom, following bribery allegations. Desani Alison Madueke was arrested in London in 2015, shortly after the expiration of her term in office in the Jonathan's administration. She is charged with counts for allegedly receiving bribes in form of cash, luxury goods, flights and private jets, and the use of high-end property in Britain in return for awarding oil contracts. The former petroleum minister is alleged to have spent the past 8 years on police bail. Meanwhile, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has welcomed the arraignment of the former minister at the Westminster Court in London. The anti-graft agency says an arrest warrant has been obtained and extradition proceedings have been initiated as a way of bringing the former minister to trial before the Court of competent jurisdiction in Nigeria. And back home, Minister of Federal Capital Territory Nyesom Wike has expressed readiness to partner Israeli government in developing technology-driven farms to produce agriculture and ensure food sufficiency in the Federal Capital Territory. The minister expresses this readiness when he received in audience the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria, Michael Freeman, who paid him a courtesy visit in Abuja. Onoze Yakubu has details.
Thank you. That warmly felicitation is an attestation of a robust collaboration between the FCT administration and the Israeli government in the areas of digital economy, agriculture and security for enhanced productivity.
We have a 6-month program where we take young Nigerian entrepreneurs and innovators from across the country and we bring them to Abuja, deliberately to Abuja because we say this is the capital, to help train them and give them mentorship from Israel and from local Nigerians to help build them, to build their company, to create jobs, to create work, to create dynamics. And then afterwards, we give them the opportunity for funding and financing to then grow and to build on.
FCT Minister Nyesom Wike discloses that the administration has initiated plans to develop a technology village which the Israeli government can leverage on. He says the administration's effort towards improving the internally generated revenue was responsible for the recent directive on the payment of ground rent.
Well, it's good for us to partner in order to have a large farm that will employ a lot of our youths, make them to participate, So I think that would be a major area of concern. And if you can open up that channel, it will help us a lot. And I thank you that we are ready in terms of security to make sure that visitors have a conducive environment to carry out their businesses.
As part of the 75th anniversary of Israel, the visiting envoy presented special gifts to the FCT minister.
All of these vegetables are grown from Israeli seedlings using Israeli technology such as water and greenhouses and that, but here in the FCT using Nigerian workers. Beautiful, and I will absolutely
NTA News.
Nigerians will be given the opportunity to interrogate the implementation of the 8-point agenda of the current administration. Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, gave the assurance that an engagement with his counterpart from Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Beta Edu Saliu Gwanara, reports.
We need the support of this ministry to go through this. I was taught in medical school that what is not recorded, what is not reported, was not done.
This interministerial engagement is aimed at promoting effective and adequate reportage of government activities. Both the host minister and his visitor have agreed that 44 days now, as members of the Federal Executive Council, the impact of the Renewed Hope agenda is visible and will be interpreted to Nigerians.
By the grace of God, on the 17th of October will be the market women's money, that's the Yalaja funds. I will be paying 50,000 naira to each market woman to add to her business and improve on it. We're targeting a total number of 1.5 million persons to benefit from this, including one of our latest program, which is the Renewed Hope Shelter. So it's providing shelter for the poor.
And we are happy that you have organized that so early. And I assure you, Honorable Minister, that we will work with you. We will work with you to ensure that all these things you have put in place, the conditional cash transfer, the JIP, rural shelter program that you have initiated, I'm so happy to hear that it is actually going to be based with the community, that they will identify the builders, they will identify the raw materials, they will identify the laborers, and they will do it themselves. That would go a long way in improving the economy of those people, and this, the economic inclusion thing we are talking about is also taken care of.
The Ministry of Information and National Orientation, the minister assured, will strengthen interministerial bond as the custodian of government activities. In Abuja, Saliu Gwanara, NTA News.
And away from the Renewed Hope agenda, as nations commemorate the 2023 International Day of Older Persons, the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs, National Senior Citizen Center, and other key actors in geriatric care at a round table insist the transformative mechanisms must be adapted to meet needs of the elderly in Nigeria. Elizabeth Amori reports that they also analyzed premises of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights for Older Persons.
Aging, a multifaceted reality, comes with all-round inclusive care. This requires effective legal and institutional frameworks for them to fully enjoy their grace. Mr. Alias, 65, is a pensioner and he says geriatric care should be prioritized.
Health-wise, they can help us, at least where we are getting our drugs.
The theme of this year's celebration reflects on the 75 years of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, and Nigeria is strengthening conversation to bridge the gaps in care for the elderly through advocacy, policy implementation, communal engagements, and collaboration.
We in the UN here in Nigeria are committed to supporting your country's efforts towards enhancing the promotion and protection of the rights of older persons, especially older persons living in vulnerable situations.
The main objective of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights is to preserve, protect, and enshrine the fundamental human rights of the universal human family that all humans are entitled to.
Data gaps and healthcare formed part of the discourse.
Special emphasis by our pitch deck and action plan will actually be providing for senior citizens who are affected by humanitarian crisis.
As rights of the elderly remain non-negotiable, the call on government at all levels to ensure implementation of policies to protect older persons to live a quality and dignified life. Elizabeth Omori, NTA News.
You're watching the Network News. We take a break now, and the news continues shortly. Thanks for being there and to promoting rule of law. Stakeholders in the justice sector advocating the development and building of capacities of state actors for effective implementation of violence against persons prohibitions law across the states of the Federation. This is part of the advocacy at the ongoing high-level engagement with states holding in Abuja. Dela Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
In this hall are key players in the justice sector, pondering on ways of promoting the rule of law, access to justice, and enhancing criminal justice with the aim of finding the pathway to addressing violence against women and girls. The forum is equally finding ways of collaboration with states of the Federation in the multidimensional fight against sexual and gender-based violence. The key players point out that the problem of sexual and gender-based violence has continued to dominate national and global discussions. The forum identifies any act that is perpetrated against a person's will on the basis of gender, norms, and unequal power relations as sexual and gender-based violence.
Currently, the Ministry is reviewing the National Policy on Justice 2017 to encapsulate SGBV matters and provide a sustainable framework for addressing the problem.
And UNDP, through its global program on strengthening rule of law and access to justice, is supporting many engagements on this, but in particular, access to justice and criminal justice pathways.
There is this exciting alignment of the criminal justice system and the Nigerian society. People are speaking up. People are reporting. Things that used to be tolerable in the past are no longer being tolerated.
The key players canvass the effective implementation of all policies, programs, and laws relating to SGBV as the solution to the problem. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And away from promoting the rule of law, Minister of Labour and Employment Simon Lalong says he is setting up a committee to look into challenges hindering the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund from effectively providing the desired safety net to Nigerian workers and provide solutions. The minister made this known during a familiarization visit to the trust fund. Joseph Utsen has the details.
The Minister of Labour and Employment Simon Lalong arrives at the headquarters of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund. This is the first to any of the departments and agencies under the ministry since assumption of office. The dispute between the organized labor and the federal government over removal of petrol subsidy seems to have consumed much of his time. Now that it is apprehended, the minister wants to focus on getting all organs of the ministry to be more productive with an atmosphere of decent work.
We saw achievements, but we saw a lot of complaints that came from this agency. We had complaints about unfair administrative practices. As a way forward, I quickly set up a committee to handle all this, summarize them, and bring on to me.
We plan to provide leadership in the area of social security and data generation, storage, sharing and coordination for all social intervention programs of the administration, provide long-term succor to all victims of enemy warlike situation that occur as provided by our ECA 2010.
NSITF is charged with the implementation of the Employee Compensation Act 2010, which enables compensation to workers in the event of death, injury, or disease at workplaces. In Abuja, Joseph Utsen, NTA News.
The Ministry of Education is perfecting arrangements with Midstream and Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund, Limited and public-private partnership to provide natural gas-powered energy as a cheap and sustainable source of electricity to federal universities in the country. Universities spend colossal amounts of money monthly on diesel to power their plants to provide energy on campuses, which the ministry believes is not sustainable.
The tertiary education, universities in particular, are the tip of the pyramid. A lot of their activities, especially the science-based programs, they have the need for constant, uninterrupted supply of electricity for research, innovation, teaching, preparation of samples, and all sorts of lab activities.
The arrangement will begin with 18 federal universities that cut across the 6 geopolitical zones for a start. Nigeria's task force on diphtheria response is developing a mechanism that will ensure the country reaches diphtheria herd immunity threshold through improved vaccination coverage and adoption of non-pharmaceutical interventions in affected states. Olusheye Adiagu reports.
Since the re-emergence of diphtheria in Nigeria in December 2022, cases are escalating in various states of the country, and as of October 3, 2023, more than 13,000 suspected cases have been reported and 8,406 cases confirmed from 114 local government areas in 19 states, including the FCT. While the risk factor evolves around poor vaccination, and Nigeria is in the phase 2 of diphtheria outbreak response to expanding vaccination coverage at high-burden states.
Reaching the community is something we have been trying to do at all levels, but mostly at the subnational level.
We do applaud the government of Nigeria providing this vaccine free of charge in the communities, which means that communities can easily access this vaccine.
For these members of the National Emergency Task Force team, Nigeria is operating a high-level coordination of outbreak response to curtail the spread of diphtheria.
We would like to call on governors of affected states to institute face covering requirements, such as face masks in public gatherings. By so doing, we can add another intervention to slow the progress of this outbreak.
We have conducted refresher training for deployed laboratory personnel, and we are currently installing laboratory equipment for optimization of those labs.
The unanimous call on actors in national response is to adhere strictly on the implementation of health advisory, most importantly for caregivers to ensure that their children aged 0 to 14 years get vaccinated. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
And away from health matters, increased participation of indigenous players is one of the benefits of the Local Content Act. Executive Secretary, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Simbi Wabote, said this during a breakfast meeting with members of the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers in Abuja. Adebola Brooksland reports.
These are members of the Guild of Corporate Online Publishers, most of them with vast knowledge in the traditional media operation before becoming online publishers. This meeting between the board and the publishers is to further improve their reportage on the oil and gas sector, especially in the area of investigative reporting. Executive Secretary of the board, Simbi Wabote, said the Local Content Act has yielded positive results.
We are proud that we have moved from zero participation in the oil and gas sector to the point that our indigenous operators such as Seplat, ITEO, and others are now responsible for 15% of our oil production and 60% of our domestic gas supply in the country. With this planned acquisition, the share of local firms in crude oil production could reach 30% or more in a short while.
The online publishers affirmed their positions on curbing fake news.
Professionalism is our watchword,
and we encourage our people to be professional. So we also do peer review to make sure that if there are any of our members that fall short of what is or fall short of our expectation, that we call the person to order.
We have been doing our own job, but they also need to be more transparent. They also need to be more accessible so that we can be able to do our work better. You know, apart from investigating on some issues, there are certain things that we would expect from them.
Sustaining Nigerian content amidst divestment to indigenous oil companies, the role of the media is the focus of the meeting. Adebola Brookslyn, NTA News.
And from the Green Chambers, the House of Representatives says a new living wage is one of the best legacies the federal government can give to Nigerians in the spirit of the nation's 63rd independence anniversary. Members of the House at Tuesday's plenary bared their minds on the need for the political class to pull together in addressing the numerous challenges confronting the nation. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikpen reports.
I pledge to Nigeria.
Plenary resumes after the Independence Anniversary holiday, and House Majority Leader Julius Ihonwuri leads the debate on Nigeria at 63 and the need to walk the talk in addressing national challenges.
I urge the Nigerian political class and leaders in general to sit up, refocus, re-strategize, and work together to make Nigeria a better place for all.
Are we truly independent? I'm sure that you know the answer. Politically, yes. Economically, the answer is no.
We need to stop the brain drain and we need to stop the mineral drain.
The way forward in addressing the issue of insecurity and other economic challenges is technology. I think it's for the Parliament now to take it upon itself, led by the Speaker, to have a new living wage for Nigerians in the shortest possible time.
After all, that is what the Parliament is all about, standing with the people at all times.
Lawmakers called on the police and security forces to intensify efforts to rescue 7 corps members and others still in captivity in Zamfara State, as well as curb the spate of insecurity and banditry in the northwest geopolitical zone.
Deploy personnel and intelligence capability to secure the immediate and safe release of the 7 abducted corps members.
Conduct a comprehensive investigation into these bandit attacks, apprehension of those responsible, and their prosecution to the fullest extent of the law.
The devastating ocean surge in Ayetoro community in Ilaje local government area of Ondo State was also brought to the attention of lawmakers.
To mandate the committees on Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) and Ecological Fund to investigate the failure of the performance of the 6.5 billion naira shoreline protection contract.
A bill for an act to provide the policy framework for the development of Nigeria's biofuels energy industry passed second reading.
Establish the Biofuels Research Agency and for matters connected therewith. I so move.
From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikpen, NTA News.
And time now to join Adiola in Lagos for stories making the rounds from that zone. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Olajide. 63 years after Nigeria's independence, efforts to improve the nation's capacity in developing local content in the field of science and technology has been yielding results, with the country currently holding the lion's share of the tech ecosystem and several homegrown solutions to some of the teething problems Nigeria is grappling with in the areas of energy and ICT. Joel Kukwala reports that experts, however, advocate more investment in science and technology education and infrastructure to gain more mileage to justify its 63 years journey in the areas.
Advanced countries of the world are leveraging on their strength in science and technology to set the pace for others to follow. Having realized the significant impact of science and technology in socio-economic development, Nigeria, according to experts, has been making giant strides in this area. One of the nation's standout achievements lies in the realm of space exploration and satellite technology. Nigeria's space agency NASA reached new heights when it successfully launched its first communication satellite. The achievement has had a profound impact on the country, enabling improved telecommunications, weather forecasting, and agricultural monitoring.
With respect to economic local content, Nigeria has introduced some local content policies in various sectors. For example, local content in terms of telecommunication sectors.
This government is really ready to explore and let the country grow in that direction.
The utilization of satellite technology is not only enhancing connectivity across Nigeria, but also elevating the nation's standing in the global space community. Another school of thought, however, posited that there is still much to be done.
Like Bangladesh, India, you can see where they are. So we really need to look back and see where are we missing these things.
The consensus of stakeholders is for relevant authorities to provide solutions to some of the challenges bedeviling the sector, which they say are majorly infrastructure and brain drain. In Lagos, Joel Bukwola, NTA News.
Navigating through life for a young adult is often filled with compelling, distractive development that presents complex choices. To provide guidance to young Nigerians using good narratives is what informed the public presentation of 2 books by Remi Togun Akinyola. Larry Belay has details.
Nigeria has never been short of great story writers, from iconic to the new ones who are making readers flip pages of their books around the world, with specific messages to the people from an African perspective and cultural orientation. This is still the norm, with 2 novels by a youth counselor and teacher, Remi Togun Akinyola, to teach young adults on love, lust, redemption, deceit, and restitution.
Young girls, you see, the level of promiscuity is very high. They don't believe in all this old love that boy meets girl. Let us be friends for some time, then it will now develop.
Young adults' journey through life no doubt need guidance, which this literature seeks to provide by emphasizing the gains of perseverance.
It's also rekindles hope, and that makes it very good for the youth.
The young adults will benefit from it, but I am recommending it from teenagehood.
African cultural views of one's conduct in life frames the stories in the book, which cautions younger adults on the consequences of the new wave of modern lifestyle and complex choices it entails. In Lagos, Lanre Bilayi, NTA News.
That's a bit from Lagos. It's time to take a break. More reports when we do return to stay.
Many thanks for being there. The Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, Brigadier General Mohammed Buba Marwa, has noted that the agency is planning an alternative development strategy that will take drug cartels out of business and protect the environment from the damaging effects of illicit drug cultivation and production. The NDLEA boasted this while outlining efforts to curb the menace of substance abuse, illicit drug production and trafficking in its presentation at the 3rd committee session of the ongoing 78th United Nations General Assembly in New York. Noting that cartels involved in illicit drug cultivation are causing deforestation, resulting in environmental degradation, adding that Nigeria is adopting a whole of a society approach to countering the challenges of drug trafficking in line with the 2030 SDG agenda, which seeks to promote the rule of law, health, peace and justice. Marwa declared that drug demand reduction strategies are also helping to address the problem of stigmatization and discrimination against people with drug use disorders. The Usman Dan Fodio University Sokoto has debunked the rumors of an attack on the institute by bandits Monday night. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Lawal Suleiman, made the confirmation while briefing newsmen in Sokoto. Zainab Saidu Abdul Nasir reports.
Briefing newsmen, the Vice-Chancellor of Usman Dan Fodio University Sokoto, Professor Lawal Suleiman Bilbis, said there was no bandits attack at the university, as alleged. He confirmed that it was a group of thieves who invaded the university mini-market. The thieves took away 2 cartons of bottled drinks and 8 mobile phones on charge in a shop in the market. He explained that the institution shares intelligence information with security agencies and the university community. While thanking security agencies for the prompt arrival at the scene of the incident, the Vice-Chancellor called on the public to disregard the rumors of bandits' attack on the university.
We have 2 patrol vehicles into the university. They come here every night from 10 o'clock. They drive to our student hostel and also the eastern part. So they come in into the university. We know that, and the police are also doing their best. All the security in Sokoto, they are really helping.
Which had started fencing the institution with a view to strengthening security, appealed to government to complement its effort in that direction. In Sokoto, Zainab Said Abdul Nasir, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps and Nigerian Customs Service have signed a memorandum of understanding that will ensure optimal automation of all processes relating to vehicle importation, registration and safety regulations. The agreement, the leadership of both agencies believe, will enhance national security and revenue generation. Olusheye Adiagbo has details.
Comptroller General of Customs, Adewale Adeniyi, coming with his team to the FRSA headquarters in Abuja. This is the second time in about 2 months. For him, the existing cooperation between the 2 agencies has helped to combat smuggling, underpayment, and majorly ensure that all stakeholders in the trade supply chain are seamlessly integrated. Now, they are eagerly awaiting real-time data exchange and boost of operational efficiency to enhance service delivery.
I want to assure the CG that no vehicle without custom duty will get registered. Yes, and we'll make sure that this data is integrated, fully integrated and functional. All the information you require, we'll make it available to you.
The real-time data exchange also will ensure data accuracy and integrity, which are crucial for informed decision-making. We expect that this integration holds immense value for both organizations and, of course, our nation at large.
Both agencies have embarked on a series of activities that will sanitize all trade routes in the country. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Over now to Benny Adams for the business segment of the news. Benny.
Thank you and welcome to business. The British and the United States governments have both expressed willingness and readiness to partner with the Nigerian government towards developing the newly created Marine and Blue Economy Ministry to support the country's economic growth. While visiting the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy, Adegboyega Oyetola, at his office in Abuja, Ambassador Jason Lappen, Senior Coordinator for Atlantic Cooperation, noted that the minister was the first person she was visiting after the ministerial meeting for Atlantic Cooperation convened by the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken on the margins of the 78th United Nations General Assembly, UNGA, in New York. She said the government was willing to offer technical support to the ministry with a view to supporting Nigeria's economic growth through the sector. She added that both countries would also be exploring technology to solve some of the challenges in the marine and blue economy sector. On his path, the British High Commissioner, Dr. Richard Montgomery, expressed the government's desire to partner with the Nigerian government in tackling the challenges of illegal fishing in Nigeria's waters, just as he applauded the decision of the minister to embark on a PPP arrangement in terms of investment in the sector. He noted that the British government was willing and ready to share information and precautionary lessons with Nigeria, with a view to partnering it to protect its marine resources. The minister noted that Nigeria, through the new ministry, is willing to develop coastal tourism and create a conducive atmosphere for businesses to thrive. He expressed Nigeria's commitment to implementing the Atlantic Cooperation Initiative Declaration. And moving on, the World Bank is set to hold its meeting in the city of Marrakesh, and the annual meeting of the World Bank and International Monetary Fund from the 9th to the 15th of October. In spite of a devastating earthquake which affected tourism in the Red City, Marrakesh is prepared to host 14,000 participants from across the world, consisting ministers of finance, central bank governors, parliamentarians, the private sector, academics, and civil society organizations from 190 countries to discuss issues of global concern, including global economic prospects. And now a quick look at the market. Investors in Nigeria's equities market booked 213 billion naira gain on Tuesday, the first trading day after the public holidays. The market, which ended last week with an all-share index and equities capitalization at 66,382.14 basis points and 36.331 trillion naira, rose to 66,770.7 points, as well as 36.544 trillion on Tuesday. At the end of trading on the exchange, a total of 364.3 million shares in 7,537 deals, corresponding to a market value of 3.8 billion naira, were traded. Today's data shows 24% improvement in volume, 15% decline in turnover, but 19% improvement in deals. The current market capitalization is 36.5 trillion naira. Consolidated Hallmark Insurance recorded the highest volume of traded shares, followed by Fidelity Bank and Owando, Nigeria. Well, that is business news, but network news continues after this break. Stay with us.
Glad to know you're still there. First stories trending in the world of sports. Let's join Samuel Johnson with Sport Update.
The Ibrahim Guzo-led board of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, has promised to transform the game of football in Nigeria to a robust and profitable business. This forms part of the board's highlight as it marks 1 year in office.
We may make everybody to have a sense of belonging in the system. That's why you see there's a little bit stability. But the grace of God, we continue to do our best.
Meanwhile, Nigerian clubs have been assured of continued support to ensure podium finish in international competitions. President of the Authentic Football and Allied Sports Supporters Club, Abayomi Ogunjimi, also urged Nigerians to always think of the country's unity and peace.
Together, we can achieve greatness and make Nigerians shine on the world stage.
Nigeria's male basketball team, the Tigers, have left the country's shore for China on a playing tour of games which ends on October 20. The team, which failed on its quest to pick the ticket for the Paris 2024 Olympic Games during the pre-qualifiers in Lagos, will take part in games across different cities in China. Led by coach Abdurrahman Mohammed, some of the invited players are Victor Eze, Michael Okiki, Ibeagu, Michael Daramola, Kingsley Onyekachi, among others. Chairman of Delta State Sports Commission, Tonobo Kokoa, has challenged other states to put modalities in place to be more competitive at the next National Youth Games.
Let them also do the same. Don't wait till competition. What we do, we train, and then before competition, we will do our trials, we'll select our best.
10 bouts slated by organizers of the Lagos Boxing Show accommodated juniors in the 30 kg, 32 kg and 40 kg categories, with organizers insisting on proper medical check.
We try to detect all this, and once we are found fit for any one of them, we normally stop them from fighting.
With Sports Update, Samuel Johnson, NTA News.
The Kebbi State government has condoled with family members, Yauri Emirates Council and Yauri local government area over the loss of 23 people in the boat mishap. The state governor, Dr. Nasir Idris, in a condolence message, appealed to the affected families to accept the incident as a will of God and prayed to Almighty Allah to grant the deceased Jannatul Firdaus. The governor prayed for quick recovery of those who sustained injuries in the accident. The boat, which capsized in the late hours of Monday, was conveying 30 traders from Kasabo in Niger State to Yauri Fish Market. And up next is the weather forecast.
You're welcome. We have more of a mixed bag here. Dust plume above and a massive rain-bearing cloud just below that. We expect these two to affect us by Wednesday morning, giving us prospect of dust haze over the extreme northern part of the country, a mix of moderate to thick dust haze. That notwithstanding, we also expect this massive rain-bearing cloud to give us prospects of morning rains to affect parts of Adamawa, southern parts of Gombe, Bauchi, Taraba State, parts of Plateau, Benue, Nasarawa, the Federal Capital Territory, even though the prospects over this central region is quite slim. Morning rains also likely to the southeastern inland, its coastal areas extending to parts of Edo and Ondo State. Dust haze should still hold sway in the afternoon over the extreme northern part of the country. We also have prospects of isolated thunderstorms to affect parts of the central region, more of the southwest, its coastal areas, and parts of the southeast coastal region. And that's it from here. Thank you for watching.
That concludes the network news. Thanks for being a part of it. I am Olajide Bello.